Welcome back, students of ICP Academy. Here I am to start with Unit 2, Theory of Consumer Behavior. You know who is a consumer. Needless to say, a consumer is a person who is ready to use the products or buy the products. How does his behavior affect, or how does his change in behavior or the way he behaves is helpful for the business firms? That is what we do understand here in this chapter, Theory of Consumer Behavior. Already the term want is very familiar to you. Nature of human wants is the first topic that we are to see with. What is meant by a want? Want in economics is a desire, a wish of a person to buy a product for his own or to use a product for his purpose, which gives him satisfaction. So, want in economics usually refers to the desire or his wish to buy a product or use a product which gives him happiness, which gives him satisfaction. This want, how does it arise? It might be a physical, psychological, or social factor which tempts him to buy the product or use the product. As we have already understood, the resources to satisfy him, his desire is limited, but he has to choose between the available resources to satisfy him. Certain wants may be very urgent one, uncertain wants may be ones which could be postponed to a later date. So, we now understand that want is a desire to buy a product or use a product. What are the characteristic features of human wants? All wants of human beings have certain characteristic features. First one is, we already have understood that wants are unlimited in number. That is, one after the other, a human might have a desire or a need to buy or to own or to have or to possess any of the products. So it is unlimited. Can a human being satisfy all his desires? If asked, the answer would be no. All wants cannot be satisfied. Second one is, what about the nature or the intensity of a desire? All desires are they the same? No. They are, some are very, very urgently to be satisfied or to be done. Some can be postponed to little later. So wants are of various types, like they differ in their intensity. Next one is utility. Utility means the satisfaction that he derives by consuming that product or owning that product. That utility also depends on the type of the want, that is, if it is an emergency one, if it is very needy one, and if he procures it, he'll be very happy. If he is willing to use it little later, he might postpone it. So the satisfaction he is ready to forgo for a little while. So the utility also depends on the intensity of the wants. In general, the word utility is satisfying power. But mere the wish to get a product alone does not say it has utility. Utility along with the satisfying power of the commodity is called as the real utility. That is, a want which has the satisfying power with it is only called as utility. Each want is satiable. That is, it has a value attached to it of satisfying. Each wants are competent in nature to the other. That is, if he owns a cycle, he might want a car. If he owns a car, he might want the next brand of car. So like every other want is a competitive one, because the resources are scarce. So he goes in to buy or to use any product which he really needs it now, or which he is able to get it now. So the one which has most satisfying power is obtained by him at the time of the need. Next is, wants are also complementary. Complementary, we told, like some wants can be satisfied only by using one or more products, like group of products. Like say for example, if it is as I always say, bread. With bread he has to have some sauce or a jam or whatever it might be. So they are complementary. One product needs the other to satisfy him. So they are complementary. At the same time, a want can be satisfied in many different ways. Or there are alternate ways. Like if you want to buy a two-wheeler, you can go for the highest variety of the two-wheeler, the costliest one, or you may go for a basic one. So all that you need is, you want a transport facility, you want a two-wheeler. But the same two-wheeler is of say various models, various ranges and various brands and so on. Which suits your pocket, you go in for it. So a want can be satisfied in n number of ways. You go to the one best suited to you. Next is, wants are subjective and relative. Subjective and relative in the sense, it has the utility concept is related to each other or subjective to his own preference. Like the want of every person may not be the same. It might vary from person to person, from time to time, from place to place. Like in South India, the demand for or the want of having wheat, consuming wheat, might be less when compared to North. But at the same time, the consumption of rice the demand for rice will be less in the North Indian people. So the wants may vary with time, place, and even individuals' preferences. Certain wants, they recur again and again and again. Like they don't stop with one consumption of one unit. Like he might be willing to buy, say for mobile phones, some people will be very crazy to buy, often change the new ones. Like so some wants, they reoccur and again it occurs. Certain wants becomes habit of person. Like as I told already, the usage of mobile phones, like to use the latest ones to exchange, it becomes a habit for certain people. And some, because of the custom, they demand it. They create a want for it. And the factors that affect the want are incomes, taste, fashion, even the advertisement of that particular product, social norms, social status, all that is also there, which affect the want of a person. And as already explained, the want arises due to various reasons. It might be physical or psychological or social obligation or for his status purpose. So it might have the want may be induced due to various factors. Utility is a psychological concept. What is meant by psychological concept? It is different from usefulness. Like seeing a movie would give happiness to a few people, whereas going to a theatre would not be liked by some others. So the usefulness here is a big question. Like, is it useful to go to a movie? No, but it gives satisfaction. So the want or the desire for a person creates utility to him, whereas for the other person who is not interested in it, it is not useful. So usefulness is not the source of utility. Sometimes it has no even moral or ethical values attached to it. He might desire to have it. he might will wish to have it, he enjoys it, that's it. He is happy, so he is having an utility value towards it. When I talk about utility, there are two types of utility. One is total utility and the marginal utility that we will be discussing here little later. What is total utility? Total utility is the satisfaction, the value of satisfaction derived from units of all units consumed by the consumer in a given term put together, added together is total utility. Like every product, the same product, every unit that he consumes, every time he sees a movie, he is happy about it. So the satisfaction, if it is given a money value attached to it, every money value added up upon together, 1 plus second plus third plus fourth unit consumption plus fifth unit consumption, that makes the total utility. Whereas marginal utility is the difference between the consumption of one to the other. When he takes up an additional unit, the additional utility that he gains because of the consumption is called as the marginal utility. So marginal utility can be said as total utility of nth unit minus total utility of n minus 1, or marginal utility mu is equal to delta to ATU divided by delta n.